There are few tools that are used as much as the compound miter saw. This saw is great for cutting 2x4s, 1x3s, and anything else that will fit on its base. Stay tuned for a quick demo and some tips on using it, right here on TheatreTEK. Sometimes called the chop saw, this saw is capable of making a variety of cuts due to the miter or angle adjustments that can be made, either by rotating the base or tilting the blade of the saw. The most common cut that you're going to make is the cross cut, which is a cut that runs perpendicular to the grain. In terms of our danger scale, this saw is somewhere in the orange zone, and if this is your first time using it, you want to have the supervision of a more experienced user. Don't worry though, if you follow these easy steps, you should have no problems using this tool. But first things first, you're going to need to be protected. So break out your goggles and your earmuffs so we can protect those eyes and ears. If you need, wear a dust mask if you're sensitive to dust, because this saw can sure kick up a lot of it. Now let's do a quick anatomy lesson. The most important part of this saw as it relates to your use and my use is the fence. And no, not that type of fence. This saw's fence is the area of the saw that you're going to anchor the wood to by pushing down on the base and against the fence. And if you firmly put a nice flush pressure on the fence, you're going to have virtually no problems cutting. The miter gauge, which angles the saw blade in degrees, has a knob or lever that locks it into place. The handle, which is the part of the saw that you're going to bring down to cut, contains the trigger and can also sometimes contain a safety so you don't accidentally turn the saw on when you're lining it up. I'd recommend, if you don't have a miter saw stand with supporting arms, put some scrap wood down on the table to help support your wood if you're making nice long cuts. Now that we know where things are, we're ready to cut. I've already made a line that shows where I want to cut, so I'm going to push the handle down to rotate the guard up and expose the blade. I'm going to put the blade on the exact spot that I want to cut. I'm going to make sure that the wood is firmly against our good friend, the fence, and make sure my hand is about 4 to 5 inches away from the blade. Notice that I keep my cutting hand open so I don't accidentally turn the saw on while I'm lining everything up. When I have it where I want it, I'm going to push in the safety, if it's there, pull the trigger, and move down at a steady pace toward the wood. I'm going to keep the trigger pulled down for the entire time that I'm cutting until I move the saw blade down and then back up. Never, ever start the saw with the blade engaged in the wood. It's dangerous and can cause bruises of all types. Now that we know how to cut with the saw, I'd like you to know what can go wrong so you can avoid it, or at least be prepared for it. If your wood is crooked, bent, or warped, it will not lie firmly on the fence or on the bed. If this is the case, the wood may move on you and slam into the fence and even become airborne as a projectile. Additionally, if you're using a low-grade wood, cheap, or recycling wood, there may be knots or screws or nails in the way of the blade. These things create abnormal conditions and may not cut well or spark, which can be frightening to say the least. A word to the wise, if you're picking out pieces of wood that you're going to be cutting, look for pieces that have a few flaws or very few flaws and are straight. Your nerves will thank you later. In the end, as long as you're safe and cut with the design of the saw, you should have no problems using this workhorse of a tool. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And as always, have fun and stay crafty.